Good morning and welcome to this Pender County Board of Education Committee of the Whole. A quorum has been established and the meeting is now called to order. Up here today in the Resource Center, we do have myself, Beth Burns, and we have Mr. Tom Reeves. On the phone, we have Ms. Hanson and Mr. Hall. So we do have an agenda, and this meeting is now called to order. At this time, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Hanson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you,
Tom
Mr.
Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Mr. Hall?
Yeah, one opposed because we need to have a discussion about the bill schedule.
Yes, sir. I think at the end of the meeting today, we can have some, we can address that. I've already talked to council, and apparently if we just address it as a statement, we don't really have to put it onto our agenda. Would that be acceptable, Mr. Hall?
Yep, that's
Okay.
fine. Change my vote to aye then.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, and the agenda has been adopted. At this time, we will go to number 3 on our agenda, financial planning. There is nothing, there's no financial planning, okay? Okay, so I guess, let's see, we're going to skip right to our number 6, instructional services. 6.1, graduation dates. Dr. Brandy Sawyer, thank you.
Okay, so the graduation dates for the 25-26 school year have been reviewed with the directors, the principals, students, and their communities for feedback. We are providing the board with 2 options. One similar to what we've done in previous years, with the times varied during the morning and the evening. The other is new, just evening time spread across 4 days. I do want to outline a few things in the new proposed times, because we do have some options to move things around if that is something that the board would want to go with. There is a rain date for Topsail High, the 29th. We added a bunch of days at the bottom of, just so you know how many days there are. Last day of school for students is the 22nd. So if we go too far, I mean, you're talking about a week and a half after the last day of school. We have PILA first on Wednesday. PILA, and then Thursday is Topsail High at 6. Pender High is Friday. And then we do end up with one Saturday graduation with Heidi Trask. If we move some things around, we can put Trask on Wednesday and put PILA during the afternoon on a different day, similar to what we have done in the past with PILA, because their graduation's a little bit smaller. So we do have the ability to make some adjustments. But really, at this point, it's at the board's discretion to review and approve the dates. We just really don't want to have to move all the way into the following Monday. We're already dealing with a holiday in between there. So the last day of school, and then we've got Memorial Day holiday. So there's a couple of days in between teachers return, and then essentially we roll right into graduations for all of those. We also have to work with the optional and the mandatory work days at the end of the year for staff. And Saturday is not an optional or a mandatory day.
Okay.
What is your recommendation?
The principal's recommendation would be to keep the same schedule that we had last year. They both, Heidi Trask and Pender High, are having theirs inside. Last year it went really great, and they really enjoyed it. The families enjoyed it. Felt a little more personal. So they're going to be keeping it inside. Topsail High would be the only one that would be outside at 6:30. Again, having the rain date the following day, we would be able to get all of the graduations done before Friday, essentially before Friday at noon.
When is the holiday?
The 25th of May. So our last day is the 22nd with students, and then we roll right into Memorial Holiday, and then teachers don't return until the day after that Monday.
Okay, so that's, I mean, I know unless I'm mistaken, teachers cannot work over 5 days in a row, so that's why Saturday could be an option if we chose that option, correct?
They could.
But since they're not at work Monday,
Well, Monday is considered a holiday.
that's
So-
what I'm saying, they're not
yeah.
allowed to work 6 days in a row. So since Monday's a holiday, if we chose Saturday, then they,
Would,
yeah,
would that be an issue?
I don't think it would.
I'm not aware of any issue that would cause,
Yeah,
besides the fact that we would have to pay them.
We'd have to pay them, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, no, I'm going back to when I was on the calendar committee for the county, and if we had a snow day in the middle of the week, or whatever that week, we immediately would hopefully try to make it up that week, that Saturday, because, teachers you couldn't do it, they can't work 6 days in a row according to the law, is my understanding.
That's not true.
That's not entirely accurate. So what it is that the makeup time would have been required to be in the payroll, whatever we set our 7 days to be. So that's probably why it kind of translated to that, if you're talking about makeup time. So if you're making up time that was not worked has to stay in the same week, payroll week, that it physically happened. So that wouldn't be an issue here, Ms. Hanson.
Because we have Monday off, right?
Well, no, it's because teachers are salaried employees
Right.
and they get paid a salary that's not based on the number of days they work.
Right, correct.
Now, your classified staff will get paid hourly no matter what. So if they're showing up on a Saturday, they'll be compensated for the time spent on a Saturday. Or if they've already worked a 40-hour week, it'd be time and a half. But I mean, that's a different calculation. And just so you know, Miss Nallen's nodding her head, so at least I know I'm saying most of these things correct. So,
It's been a minute since I've served on the calendar committee. I just wanted that, if we needed to discuss that.
Okay.
And I had a phone call, this is Beth Burns. I had a phone call from a parent last night asking if the board would consider having Topsail High School graduation at UNCW. Absolutely not. And I wanted to, in all transparency, I wanted to address it since I did get a phone call. And I don't think there's a lot of new people in our district who have moved here since 2020. And here is how, and I wanted everybody to understand how we came to have graduations out on our football fields and we switched from UNCW. Obviously, 2020 was when COVID was at its worst. And we were told, you can't have large graduations like you've had in the past. We didn't like that. And Mr. Don Hall, I think you remember that meeting quite well, because as I recall, you spoke up quite eloquently that night as to your opinion about about our large graduations, that these students deserved it. Mm-hmm. So our staff went out to our football fields and they placed those chairs 6 feet apart, I think, as was the Strong Schools Toolkit, as I recall. And we had outdoor graduation for the entire class. Now, I will also tell you that there were rumors running rampant during that time that we were going to have the state police show up to stop graduations. That did not happen, obviously. And I also remember that Topsail High, I think Brad George attended that graduation. We all split up and tried to make sure that at least one board member was at each graduation. And I remember Brad George telling me that they even fired off the cannon over at Topsail High. And I know that someone, I don't know who it was, had fireworks in the parking lot behind the Heidi Trask, because I was there for the Heidi Trask graduation. And I see you laughing over there, Mr. Mike Taylor, because you were the principal at that time. That day was one of the most memorable of both my terms as a school board member. To my opinion, it was a triumph. We overcame a huge obstacle to make sure that our students had the graduation that they deserved. We had so many parents addressing us at that time, telling us how much they loved having their student graduate on the football field, how proud they were, and that it was a lovely idea to have your student graduate from right in the middle of the place that they had come to know for the past 4 years. And I agreed with that. So I just want everyone out there to know why we have our graduations now out on the football fields. I noticed that we are slowly moving things back inside, though. But Topsail is a special case because they have an extremely large class. So I just wanted those out there who, that one person who had given me a call, and I had also seen it a little bit on social media, to know that I was going to at least give this the courtesy of a discussion. And that's all I had to say about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Board, are there any more questions about graduation dates?
I have none.
I've got one, this is Don. Will this be voted on at our regular meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Jennifer
you.
Hanson, no questions.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we're on to 6.2, Policy 3400-R, First Read.
Okay. So I've brought policies to you in the past few months based on the new North Carolina State Law CRE-001. Students are no longer allowed to receive an FF. FFs were for students who had attendance concerns and had to make up time. Make up time is no longer allowed. You can't give FFs anymore. So in regards to attendance and the number of days missed in that course, the accountability for attendance had been kind of shifted somewhat. We're asking the board to approve a change in the policy 3400-R to allow students to be accountable for attendance and their learning. If you notice, it changes slightly to the first 9 weeks grade of a semester. So it'd be the first and the third semester. They can't receive anything lower than a 50. Second rating period, if attendance comes into play, it affects that part of the grade. And the second policy I'm bringing to you actually has to do with makeup time, like makeup work. So that way we can have the two coincide together very nicely. And we'd like to have this effective the 25-26 school year. Dr. Lee has been working with teachers and principals on these policies to try to figure out a way that we could have some teeth into attendance, and sent a survey out to all the high school staff concerning this very policy and the grading. And I believe we got 100% yes. 100% yes in favor of changing the policy to the 50% for the first 9 weeks and third 9 weeks, essentially.
So just to clarify, if a student scores below a 50 in the first 9 weeks, the school system would give that student a 50, would up it to a 50 to give them an opportunity to still have a chance to pass that course for the entire course that they take it. But after that, the student would earn whatever the student earns beyond that. So it's a grace grade for
Yes, sir.
students that would score below that threshold,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay.
When you're taking semester-long classes, it's known that if you get below a certain grade in the first 9 weeks, it's very, very hard to recover from that. A 50 in the first 9 weeks is not nearly as hard to recover. And now that we're going to be addressing missed work, we can actually have some teeth into that as well, instead of just makeup time specifically.
So in essence, what we're doing is giving them an opportunity to succeed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, board,
Jennifer Hanson,
yes.
is this a large issue in our district?
I don't have the data for the number of students that are chronically absent on me currently. I can definitely get that for you. But it does, and how many we might have had last year. Do you happen to know the data-wise from last year?
But the impact, especially with student behavior, when it came to that second and that fourth now weeks, some of the students knew the loophole. So sometimes they knew they could show up and not do anything if they made that 70 the first 9 weeks, because we still had to give them that 50, that second 9 weeks. So they found the loophole, just like we do in life. We see what time we have to leave in order to miss certain stoplights. But they found that loophole, and some of the students would even voice to their teachers, I have my 70,
Yeah, I'm good to go now.
And then that CRE 001 doesn't let us tie the attendance to it. They could miss 40 days the second 9 weeks, as long as they got that 70 the first 9 weeks, we would still have to pass them, because right now we still have to give them that 50, which averages to the 60. So because of CCRE 001, it's coming from the state, we don't have, any teeth to hold them accountable for attendance.
Thanks.
Okay, board, are there any other questions about this?
I have no question.
No questions.
Okay.
Jennifer?
So we're recommending at the regular board meeting and allow it to be approved at the regular board meeting in September, effective 25-26 school year.
Very good. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Second policy is the 4400 first read. This one also due to the same CRE-001. We're asking the board to approve a change in this policy to include makeup work requirements. We are recommending to move to second read at the regular board meeting approval effective the 25-26 school year. And what we did on this policy is added all classwork missed due to absences will be made up. We need to take out the satisfaction of the teacher, sorry. That should be crossed out. Students will be allowed to make up work for all absences, including unexcused and suspensions, except for unusual circumstances. They're going to be expected to make up the work within 5 days of the day they return. The student is responsible for finding out what assignments are due and completing them within the specified time period. We had spoke last night about that first sentence and really wanting to take it out of the satisfaction of the teacher and really put the onus on the student for doing the makeup work. And if they're doing that makeup work, that's there. So I will make sure I take care of that. But we did also add, if you notice, same with the policy on final exams and the other policy, we added the exceptions there and the attendance waiver as well, just to kind of allow principals to understand that there are extenuating circumstances. You have kids in a hospital, you might need to give them more than 5 days. So they do have the ability to do that within this policy. Any questions?
Ma'am, thank you.
I think it blends very well into the first policy.
Yep.
So, yes. Okay, are there any other questions, board?
I have no questions.
Okay,
No questions.
Mr. Hall? Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, at this point, we have reached the end of our agenda items. Before we adjourn, I did want to make a comment about three-tier bell schedule yesterday. As always, the first day of school is always, well, quite honestly, it's always the roughest, especially with a new three-tier bell schedule in play. Things did not exactly go as well as what we had hoped, but I would ask all of you to please extend a little bit of grace. Our staff is working on this right now, and I think even yesterday we were implementing changes that made things a little easier in the afternoon. And I will tell you that we are going to continue to implement changes until we can make this schedule the best that it can be. But I am right now going to turn this over to Dr. Breedlove because he was out there yesterday and he saw everything that was going on, and he can give you a little bit better explanation of how things went and how we're going to change. And again, I would leave this with saying, again, thank you for your grace, everyone who was out there who had a good attitude and actually gave us a chance to do this. So, Dr. Breedlove.
Thanks, Ms. Burns. Board, certainly was out there, spent time in the traffic coming out of Hampstead on my way to Surf City yesterday morning, and saw firsthand some of the issues that we had with bottlenecking around the Thompson campus. Of course, this year, we also had our schools implement a new car rider line and entrance and exit points to see how that would go to try and free some things up. Of course, there was a significant backup in turning left on the northward bound traffic coming out of, off of 210 and coming up that way, trying to turn left, which backed up those roads significantly on the southbound side. But when you get past Topsail High, you had the southbound lanes coming out of Surf City in that were significantly backed up. And so you had we call it a bottleneck around that Vista Lane light, of course. And so DOT was on site that morning at that Vista Lane, was able to adjust that light for today. And that's why there was significant change there. In addition, we looked also at the queuing lanes in and around Topsail High School, Topsail Annandale, Topsail Middle School last night, looking to extend those queuing lanes so that we are pulling more traffic off of Highway 17 in addition. And this morning, the end result was a significant change and improvement over the first day. And as we said from the very beginning, we just need some patience. We don't know what we don't know. And that first day was telling on some things that we needed to do different on day 2. And even going into day 3, we will see even more changes. For example, one of the hiccups yesterday was that our buses struggled to get out of Topsail High School in a reasonable time to start the elementary route and then the middle school route. So that created a delay at each one of those schools as well. And so this morning, Mr. Overton, our transportation specialist, spoke with just about every bus driver and rerouted them out of Topsail High School. Those that were going southbound out of Topsail, instead of going to Vista like they did yesterday, we used Jenkins Road to get them out. And they will begin using that route, and then those going northward will use Vista, thus separating our buses to help get them out and onto their next run, creating less of a delay at our elementary and our middle schools. And so we, this is what we do. We look at what is happening, and we try and adjust each and every day. I know that our queuing lane at the high school, we ended up pulling that back around the back of the high school and being able to pull more cars in to get them also out. Also today, DOT was at the Jenkins Road. They were at Vista yesterday, and they are adjusting that Jenkins Road light to allow more traffic in and out in order to help improve the flow of traffic. Of course, this morning, I believe that there were about 4 accidents in and around the Highway 17 area, which did not help the situation. But with that said, we did have a significant improvement by over 30 minutes of getting buses and traffic in and out of school. So I will continue to ask our parents, our community to be patient. We are working through these issues. If we think back a year and how things were a year ago, remember we had significant delays last year with elementary students still at the school after 5 p.m. Remember, and they got out earlier last year, and we had multiple missing drivers. We had significant issues yesterday with the issues that we had. We were fully staffed on our drivers. We also had, for example, at Topsail-Annandale, which typically has almost a double-digit double routes. We only had 1 double route yesterday at Topsail-Annandale. And so that is a significant change in the 3-tier bell system and what that was able to do, be fully staffed. As we work through all of these changes, we will adjust and continue to adjust, and it will get better and better as we move forward. And so I'm just asking that our parents and community continue to support Pender County Schools, the work that we're doing. Our teachers had a phenomenal day yesterday with the first day of class. Our students were happy. Our teachers were happy. And so it is going to be a great year, and we will continue to work to smooth out our transportation system in and around both the Topsail and the Surf City areas. And so I spent the morning at Surf City, and we had some slight delays to get school started. I know that after school we have to adjust some of the elementary and the middle school queuing as it's coming in, and I know our principals are working through that. I got word this morning from all of our principals, everything was much better and much smoother, and so we will continue to see that as we progress throughout the year.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Breedlove. And I just wanted to let everyone know that I put this to the acid test this morning. I left my house this morning to be over here at 9:30. I gave myself plenty of time. I left the house at 8:12. And I went through Hampstead on 17, I pulled into here to the Resource Center 50 minutes later. Quite honestly, I was not expecting that. I thought that it was going to at least be an hour plus. So just speaking from experience, I did actually drive it today, and I was only 5 minutes later than what I usually make it to like a 6 o'clock board meeting. So I could see the improvement, and I think that if everyone who was out there this morning, I hope you saw the improvement too, because it was there. So with that, we have gone through all of our agenda items. If you're out there listening, we thank you today. And again, we appreciate your grace on this subject. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.